Okay, let's get through these questions, and now I'm gonna answer them
help you.
faster. Assassin class. It says I need to kill someone and that my alignment changes to evil. Do you enforce this rule? Yes, because it requires it. And sorry if I'm going fast, but I had to do this multiple times and take multiple times. 2. What do you allow to take 20s on? Non-stressful situations, but it takes 20 times as long to take the natural 20. In other
words, not a nat 20, you're just taking 20 on the roll.
Or, well, it's not a nat 20, but you're taking a 20. Straight up. But in other words, you have to have time and not
Don't ask. It's questions.
Yeah, I had to redo this part multiple fucking times. With the grappling hook, it says it takes an AC of 5 to hit a good place for it. Do you agree to that or not? Yeah, if it says so. It's part of the item. Another thing, with the grappling hook, does it make noise when used? And if it does, I put some... Okay, could I put some rags or cloth over it to muffle it, but get a negative modifier to hit? It's not so much as the fact that it makes noise when it hits something, that it itself makes noise. It's also the object you are hitting that could make noise. Even if it's you try to muffle it with rags, it's the act of hitting it that could make noise. So I would say, if logic allows, maybe. It's a what if, and if you can somewhat manage to get away with it. Like, logically, this type of material against that type of material. There's still going to be noise, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Darkness and blindness both suck and rock for my character. Do you enforce the darkness rules? Well, if you can't see in a place, you can't see. So,
dark vision. Why my oracle is actually going to be useful.
Yeah. If you do enforce the darkness rules, how does seeing a light work? Let's say I'm in darkness, but an enemy has a torch. How far can I see the torch from?
Normal vision range, I would assume.
Technically, it's normal vision range because it's a light. As long as it's not hidden behind something with a line of sight, you can see that light. I think a bit realistically when it comes to being able to see a light. Like, if it's out in the distance, as long as there's a line of sight to see it, you can see it if you can perceive it. And it's not like
a metric shit ton distance away.
Yeah. Also, if 5 and 6 hold true, does the detection range of dim light differ?
Kind of. It depends if you have low light vision or not.
Yeah, kind of. What Jose said. Jose might have better questions. He can memorize the book almost off the back. More than I can. I got a message log thing in my Facebook, but I will answer that later, god damn it.
Next question.
Can I put a cloth over a lantern so it only goes off dim light?
Yes. Hooded lantern. It's either a hooded or bullseye lantern that you can do that with.
Yeah, as long as it allows you to do that, you can. But it has to be the right type of lantern, as you said. For arson, would I need to make a check to see how the fire would spread, or would I just know because of my training? I would say technically you would need to do a check, because there's still the chance of failing.
Wait, now I have I'll save my question for the end.
Save your questions for the end so I can get through this and save the clip. 10. Can I just tell the direction of the wind, or is that a skill check?
Survival. At worst, survival.
At worst, survival, but it would also be... Technically, it's part of perception because it's using your senses.
Yes, you muted.
I'll unmute him when I'm done with these. Let me get through this wall of text, please. For the love of God. 11. Most of the skills in their description have various tables to show the DC for common tasks. Do you use those? Kind of. I will say kind of, but I also make a judgment call. And sometimes it's better with the judgment call because I think it's more fair. And sometimes I use the table if I think that one would be more fair if I truly don't know. Can I use the background traits for my character? my character, or are they allowed? I do not understand this question.
If he's talking about the trait
phrase it.
system, yes, every character starts off with 2 traits, like 2 trait bonuses, like kind of how feats are, but they're really weak.
Like super weak.
Yeah, like say a +1 bonus to your reflex or a +2 to your initiative, but like they're weak as hell.
Well then, yeah. 13 books but 13 books, can they offer any advantages by reading them, or are they simply
Depends on the
RP?
book. There are certain books that can do it, but they're situational.
I've actually made a skill book where, actually in the last session, I had a skill book given to Brian. It gave him 1 point in animal handling, and then it was removed from his inventory.
There are books that allow them to know ahead of time what sort of things to expect in a dungeon, like a sort of a in-game dungeon master's guide. But again, it's very situational.
It's kind of situational, and it depends. And if it's a skill book, especially if you try to buy it from the shop, it might be expensive because that is a skill rank.
Or there's the manual tomes that just straight out increase your ability scores, which those are very expensive.
Okay, 14th question. I took a look at the rules again. It looks like the +3 from class skills is a miscellaneous modifier. So
yep,
you put in 1 skill rank in the favored skill, and you get +3 modifier.
But it only applies once.
For the first level, it has a rank in it. So in reality, it's a +4. Is this true, or am I being a dumbass? It is true, but it only applies once you put the first rank in. It does not increase by another 3 for every rank.
And it doesn't give you the 3 unless you have
applies on the
ranks
first rank, and that's it.
Yep.
15. Will you use weather in your games? If you do not use it because it's hassle to track, I don't mind tracking it for you. Technically, I'll just choose
weather
whichever
affects
weather.
fly and some other things as well. Primarily fly.
Mainly, I
acrobatics, and
use
survival.
weather as a storytelling device a bit. So
okay, so it's not really going to affect modifiers.
For the most part, it will be pretty normal. But if I feel like it deserves to have some weather to add a mood or something, I will.
Cinematic.
I mean, it is a land of magic. So
cinematic, not mechanical weather, pretty much, right?
yeah, unless there's a certain boss that causes weather changes, or if you happen to do fight in said weather, then the weather would cause certain things. It could be Breath of the Wild type weather. It's random.
The goddamn lightning storms. We're not gonna get into it. Next question.
How does strangling someone work? For example, the suffocation says a character who has no air to breathe can hold her breath for 2 rounds per point of constitution.
It depends if they're drowning or you're actively strangling them. Because I've seen vigilante archetypes that have strangulation. It's complicated. It's complicated. Let's just leave it at that. It's complicated.
With what I just read,
it's complicated.
It would be you knock them out at first, but if you continue to do so, you're gonna probably eventually snap their neck, so you kill them. Because they become a helpless creature, and then you can make a check to coup de grace, snap their neck.
Pretty much. Next question.
I would using 17, actually, because 16 was the strangling.
Okay, 17.
How would using a garrote affect this?
It wouldn't change anything.
Oh,
it would not change anything.
Oh, I think he's talking about the coup de grace.
It would not change much. It would not change
much. If I wrapped a rag around the arrow shaft and soak it in a contact poison, would I be able to use a contact poison on a arrow, or better yet, use a? I think that technically would be a craft check, and depending on how well,
you would need poison use. You would absolutely need to not use poison, or at the very least make some craft alchemy checks.
And
to not poison
depending
yourself.
on how well it goes, and when you go to use it, it's really all up to chance. The better you're crafting, the better your chance. It's
that, or
to me,
put
I
some
see it
levels
as
in
that adds a chance for contact poison. But 19. On encumbrance, it says I can lift 100 pounds over my head, 200 pounds off the ground, and on average I could push or drag 500 pounds. Do I need to make a strength check while I'm within these limits, or not?
No. I think that's just innate. You can just do those.
Innate, I believe you can do those. But
anything further, I don't think it's possible.
Actually, technically it would be a strength check, but it would be like a normal DC. But the higher the amount of weight or whatever, it really is up to the DM. But the more heavier it is or something, the more of a DC check you have to make. But I would say innate, you could probably do that. But I haven't really come across the section where that came into question.
Carrying capacity, but I don't think we've really covered that much.
So with that, I think that's all the questions. Oh, for fuck's sake, I could save this clip and then... Did you have one question? I have enough time for one question, Jose.
Yeah, no, my question is... Logan, are you trying to become a criminal?
Who knows? I thought he was trying to become a spy. I don't know what he's doing, but hey, he's playing his character however he fucking wants.
I know, but it's like,
I will state though, if he becomes evil,
if he becomes evil, my spare is gonna have some questions.
Well, if he does choose to go assassin and go evil, that's gonna bring up some questions, and he loses connection with the whole Holy Dragon and being one of the chosen by fate. Yep. That's the rule.
Unless we pull a Final Fantasy IV and he just becomes Dark Knight Cecil, but that's something we won't.
Or the next Sephiroth. Who is that over there? Gonna get ready to fuck ya. Boom, 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 boom. Logan's assassin. Boom, boom.